everybody. Welcome back to LA Show. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in. Of course, I have Sisco here with me, and today we're just going to go over some hot topics in the Nipsey Hussle case. Some things that have been popping up over the internet that we find interesting. So, how are you doing tonight, Cisco?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on again.
Of course, of course. So, we have went through Instagram and we stopped and saw something that was posted a couple of days ago. The marathon continues. It's having a pop-up shop and that will be in New York. I was going through the post and I was like, reading the comments, and a lot of people are kind of upset and on the fence about that because their orders still have not been fulfilled. How do you feel about that?
Um, well, the first initial thing when I heard that, it made me think that maybe Rock Nation has more pull on the Marathon Continues and the Marathon store than we know.
Mhm.
Because, and then this is just me, uh, uh, analyzing the situation, because when big money's involved, the small print matters. And Nipsey was being managed by Rock Nation, and you know his numbers are off the charts since he's passed away. It, I find it very strange that people are complaining about unfulfilled orders, but they're still going to do this pop up store. And to me, that that doesn't sound like a move that the family of Nipsey Hussle or the estate of Nipsey Hussle would make, unless it's being controlled by people that are, like I say, they deal or rely on the small print. The small print in the contracts that sometimes we overlook when we sign things.
Mhm. Now, you also said that there could be an issue with the products as well. Being maybe under a different manufacturer, or it's got to be something going on where the clothes aren't being produced or packaged and shipped. Something isn't adding up.
Yeah, I mean, when you have and that's what I'm saying. It might be a whole lot of hands involved, and sometimes the what do they call that? The chain and distribution is gets all jammed up. You would have think with all of the assets and abilities and financial abilities that they have that they would have been able to solve it, and
Hmm.
there shouldn't be any complaints. The irony and all that, or the strangeness and all that, is that the thing that we saw a few months back, which was the fact that the Rock Nation's products were the first thing you saw on Nipsey Hussle's page
True.
at a significantly less price than Nipsey's original products. So I mean, you see you see that kind of move, and then you see this pop up store in New York. It's like that doesn't sound like authentic Slauson Boy, Nipsey Hussle moves.
Yeah.
That's not how he moves. But there are some people we know in the past that that have snaked us, you know. And you just got to go back in here. I'm not gonna say it because other people have talked thoroughly about it, and I don't really want to go there right now,
Hmm.
because that's a whole nother direction. But if you know and follow hip hop history, there's been snake moves just like this done before, and this looks like a
Mhm.
snake move. Because I mean, if the orders aren't fulfilled, how are you gonna do a pop up store?
Yeah, I mean that's like telling somebody, "Hey, I'm not sending this to you. Fly over here and come get it."
Yeah, I mean, some of them comments, assuming that they're real people and true comments, they say they from LA and they didn't get the order.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, you know, if you are in New York, go support our brother Nipsey Hussle. I know you are anyway. Um, Definitely see what it's about. Get some footage, and everybody just be patient. This was something that really did shock the family. You know, so yeah, definitely.
One
So in
one one
between that, hmm
one last thing before we go to the next point, and you guys that are down, real stomp down Nipsey Hussle fans, just be careful because there's a lot of fakes out there. I've done the research. There's a lot of fake merchandise, fake
hmm
marijuana strains,
yeah,
a lot of fake stuff out there where you can get your whole money took. Even early on, there were some fake GoFundMe pages, believe it or not. All kind of stuff out there. Once you start looking, it's like a big ocean of fakeness out there. So just be
it is.
careful. Be
It is.
careful how you spend your sincere Nipsey Hustle dollar fan. Your dollars for sincere fans, because there's a lot of hustle out there.
Yeah. I mean, we just saw on eBay, Shitty Cuz this song is going for $25 on eBay
Yeah,
by an
but then
unknown artist.
yeah, by an unknown artist. I mean, who's gonna take a chance and spend $25 on an unknown artist? Come on, man.
Rapping about Shitty Cuz, unless you're gonna give us some details about Shitty Cuz, like who he is and da 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 da. Because before anything, we thought this guy was a ghost.
I, s- I
So,
still I'll keep it real with you. I still do.
well, we'll figure it out. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah. That's something we ain't even talked about. I mean,
Yeah. So I'm gonna throw a curveball in the mix. um, Nipsey wins 3 posthumous Grammys. So he was nominated last year for the Grammys. He lost, I do believe, to Cardi B, and now they are renominating him, and he is getting 3 different Grammys. How do you feel about that?
well, I mean, like a lot of people, it's commonly said nowadays, give me my flowers when I'm alive. You know,
Hmm.
for as promising as the man was, it would have been nice to see him get his flowers while he was alive. That's all I can say about that.
Okay. I feel as though, yes, definitely give this man his flowers while he was here. He was making some very interesting moves in the streets of Los Angeles. And I feel as though a lot of people didn't uplift him even in, around the area as much as they really should have. I mean, if I wish I could have been around this guy because just his energy, I think it did spark a new feeling in that area, but it just seems like it was a lot of hate towards him in that area. You know what I'm saying? With people mysteriously reporting him and friends running away from the scene after you get shot and people not being there when you need them. It doesn't make sense. That's the problem. So we're gonna go into the next topic. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. We knew Nipsey deserved those Grammys anyway. So we have Herman Douglas, aka Thundercat, aka ain't it Fly Mac?
Nah,
That's
is
not
he
his
fly
name.
back?
I do believe he is.
I don't know. I know he got some weird name like that.
Yeah, he got a couple different names.
Yeah.
Um, and also known as Cowboy for show. Um, well, okay, you did a lot of the research just now. How do you feel about Cowboy?
See, Cowboy has always been interesting in the story, not because of how we seen him behave in the video and in the post interviews. You know, the whole timeline, Cowboy has been an enigma. He's a strange type of dude.
Hmm.
We know you know early on we did a lot of background research on him that we never really talked about. But just to answer LA's question, how I feel about him is just like, is this arrest the chickens coming home to roost? And what I mean by that is because from the beginning of this ordeal, situation, assassination, Cowboy was an unregistered, he was in violation for being not registered as a sex offender. So, and he's an ex felon. So then this happens. Then we see him get in a fight the night of, during Memorial, or the next day during the night, during the Memorial. We see him like have basically, you know, what I would say is a green light on the streets from the police, because we've seen a video with him talking to the police. He went to the grand jury. He has been able to deal with the police and not have to deal with the fact that he's an unregistered sex offender.
Yeah, we've been said that from the get go because that's what popped up when we searched their names. He stood out to us for sure. A lot of people are, saying what he's charged with, but of course it's not on the website. So what I did was, of course, my investigative journalism. I looked on Instagram, saw somebody who was attached. They just so happened to have a phone number up, and me and Cisco gave him a call. Now, that person did not tell us what he's charged with, of course. But I'm going to get that rock solid for all of us. So stay tuned for that. Um
And on the system now, it doesn't show any disposition of the charge. So it's just the bail. And for you guys, understand, when it's 1.25 million, 1,250,000. So it's 10% of that. He's got to come up with 12,500 to bail out. We've seen him throwing up. I mean, showing stacks of cash, driving fancy cars. Uh, 12,500 should be easy to bail out, and he's not out. And there's nothing listed in the system, and you can pull up sometimes on other people. When you run their names, you'll find the disposition of the charge or some inclination of what they're charged with. You don't get a case number with him, and it's just blank. So that raises a little suspicion as to why he was picked up for
yeah.
this. And that's why we want to know exactly from our point of view. We want to confirm what the charges are.
Well, from what I understand, the person I talked to, they said that they, were arrested with him or with
Right,
him while he was arrested.
right.
So That's something very interesting to know as well.
Yeah,
Um,
right, right.
so we're going to keep our ears to the streets. I'm not for sure, but I'm pretty sure that this person may or may not hit us back up. Just the way we were talking, and we may hit that person back up as well because we want to know some things that's going on the back end. And that person really didn't want to let that information go for a reason.
Just just one more last point for you higher thinking people that are street smart. Just look at Cowboy's background and look if we can confirm this allegation, if it's kidnapping and the fact that he was arrested with another person, you can imagine that scenario, what was going on. I can at least.
I
But
can
like I
too.
said, it just gotta be confirmed.
Yeah, just based off the way that that person was talking, and it doesn't sound good for Cowboy nor that person themselves. So we'll see. Um, Eric Holder, aka Shitty Cuz. Oh, let them know about Herman Douglas's next court date.
It's on the 27th.
Okay,
Yeah.
November 27th.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric Holder. So Eric Holder is going back to a possible trial February 19th of 2020. What do you
Hmm.
see what do you see happening in that courtroom? Because I'm I'm so curious and anxious to get to this point.
I don't know. It's my strong assumption that it's gonna be the start of the trial because of in the system. It's the court date on the 6.5 million bail. So
Okay.
and it's set out far enough to where they may announce that this is gonna be the beginning of the trial.
Okay.
And my thing is I don't know because it's like I'm thinking of my mind and how my mind works with what we've researched together versus what what's her name, Llewellyn Young, is
Yeah,
that her name?
Lewin. Lewin.
Llewellyn, yeah, Llewellyn Young. Which what's her approach gonna be? Is she gonna try to go for the least amount of damage, or is she gonna attack the state's case head on? By those motions, early motions, and then even the second one that got denied, it looks like she was gonna go head on. And
Mm-hmm.
if she were to go head on, the one thing I would challenge is identity. Number one, I would challenge identity.
Well,
Um, if
we're gonna break that down a lot when we drop our next video. Um, Once we get these technical things out the way, we are going to drop a video that is going to bring us back to the beginning because that's
Right,
what Google is doing. Google insists on us going back to the beginning. If you haven't noticed about this case,
man, this search with that what they call that search engine optimization and the algorithm, man, they give you what they want to give you, man, because you can try to that's why I don't even want to go there, but it's
okay,
frustrating.
yeah,
Sometimes you got to find you an alternative way, and I have to search outside of Google sometimes.
yeah.
But
So I just want you guys to be aware, but doing the things that we do, the investigative journalism, calling people outside the box, like I just did, because I tried to call, you know, the station. These people ain't answering. So I tried to think outside the box as well. And we're going to keep thinking outside the box over here. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Cisco?
Yeah, I wanted to finish the points. So the first thing, if she were to take it on um, head on, would to be challenge identity. Um,
Mm-hmm.
would be to challenge the ballistics, and challenge the ballistics. Um, was the marathon store being investigated? Was Nipsey Hussle being investigated? Who is he being investigated by? For what reasons? Was does Eric Holder have anything about snitching in his records? Because this is the crust of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the grand jury, the crust of the story is he's mad because he's accused of being a snitch. So if you
Mm-hmm.
challenge it head on, if you can prove that he has no snitching in his if it's his testimony or his statement that he never said that conversation never happened, and there are some people that say that conversation wasn't about snitching.
Yes,
Okay,
it was.
okay, so if he's saying that conversation never happens, plus there's no snitching in his background, plus there's a challenge in identity, and the whole thing about the court process is not about the truth, is what you can prove. Her job is to bring reasonable doubt. You
Mm-hmm.
bring reasonable doubt, you cannot convict. Also, the other thing is mental health. Mental health.
That boy ran straight to a mental facility.
Exactly.
That was
Exactly.
crazy.
So
That was
that's
wild.
another.
And who was that female that recorded that video?
Yeah, man.
Who
Yeah,
was
man.
that female that did that? Because that
It's,
was crazy. That was just wild the way all that went down, dude. Have
and
you
I'm gonna
ever
tell you.
seen that? A hood dude? He's known for doing this, he's known for doing that. Have you
Uh,
ever seen that?
I ain't never seen nothing like that. That was very weird. And I spent hours on Google Maps trying to line up the same angle that she was at,
I
and
remember that.
and looking at all the other videos. I'm trying to find this car that pulls up and records and gets that angle. I kept on trying. I tried for hours and hours and hours. I got close, but I never could ever find a video of Eric Holder's arrest, and there's a white car in filming. And if you guys can find it, please get it. Send it. Put the link in there to show that car filming Eric Holder getting arrested, because that's exactly what she did from inside her car. She also wanted to see the cop leave from over there and walk towards her window. I never found that. I never could find it. And also, I used Google Video to line up the angles of where she is actually shooting. There's parts of the building. And I was
hmm
like, man, that shit is real weird. Like, it's real weird. That's why I really want to know who that girl is. She
Me
say she
too.
worked there. She say she worked there. If anybody can get that Instagram or Facebook page, hook us up.
Yeah, because I don't mind reaching out. You know me. Um, this is very interesting. A whole case dedicated to secrecy. Dedicated to one narrative. Dedicated to no bodyguards for a major celebrity. Uh, dedicated to business deals that may have went sour. It's real interesting to me how a lot of these people are not speaking up. So we'll be back later. And hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. And if you already are subscribed, make sure you turn on your notifications. And we'll be back with more.